welcome to the Super Pull of the South. Indeed, a top Grand National Truck and Tractor Pull happening right here in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. A beautiful night for motorsport action, and it's coming your way right here on ESPN's Challenge of Power. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Chapel Hill, Tennessee, a nice small town south of Nashville. And the power pack pulling action is going to be incredible this weekend. 2 fantastic sessions. This event is number 1. 2-wheel drives, the wheel standards, ground pounders, 4-wheel drives, the unlimited modified. Lots of high horsepower there. And, of course, the traditional tractor class, the super stock. It's all happening right here at the Lions Grand Nationals, presented by Beeman Pensacola Bottling Company of Nashville. This is indeed the Super Pull of the South. We'll have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Super Pull of the South. It's 4-wheel drive pull in action. The rules, very, very simple. The biggest engine these competitors can put in their rigs, 650 cubic inches. They're naturally aspirated motors. That means there's no forced air, no superchargers allowed. They're running on Alky Racing alcohol. And the neat thing about this class is all the power has to be transferred to all 4 tires. They've got to stay in contact with the ground. This is a track reader's dream tonight. A great track, and it's going to be a super 4-wheel drive class. Hi, everybody. I'm Doc Riley for ESPN's Challenge of Power. We bring you the 4-wheel drives tonight from Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Out of Mount Vernon, Ohio, here comes Jeff Schaefer in a 1992 Chevrolet S10. 641 cubic inches. He's had a good history of pulling, about 12 years in the sport, and last year finished 7th in the Grand National Points Race. He's a former Rookie of the Year, comes out of Mount Vernon, Ohio, a machinist by trade, but he's going to put 12 years of experience down on the line right now to win, lose, or draw. Jeff Schaefer. Schaefer with a good head of steam, but it looks like it's going to be the second or third part of the equation, as he's not going to get past the full pull distance. Frank Young out of Loxahatchee, Florida, up next in a Ford, a 1991 Ford, 644 cubic inches, naturally aspirated power. Now look where Frank Young has spotted the Lutke Eliminator. A little bit closer to the left sideline as you face the 300-foot mark. Again, 4-wheel drive pullers take an awful lot of time reading the track. It's so important in this high horsepower class. Young got to bouncing a little bit towards the very end, but another fine straight run here. They're coming up just a little bit short in a tough track in the Super Pull of the South. Marty Smith in Just Fine, another Loxahatchee-based Florida, this time in a Chevrolet. And again, he's going to cheat just a little bit towards the middle of the track, and we're going to find out in just a couple of minutes what one of the noted track readers in the United States is going to come up with. No one's been able to come up with the right equation as of this time. Marty Smith out of Loxahatchee, Florida, needs to go by 2:88.1. That's the distance that Jeff Schaefer has set to win, lose, or draw. And we'll see if this Florida-based puller can make it happen in his Chevrolet. What a wild ride for Marty Smith, and Just Fine. He started squealing back and forth. Then you can hear the RPMs coming up and the horsepower being transferred right to the track. A pretty good run for Marty Smith out of Florida. This is Manuel Marino out of Seguin, Texas. Manuel Marino right now third in points. He trails the Holman brothers coming into this weekend's action. Manuel Marino, we had a chance to talk with him earlier in the pits. He's one of those good track readers. What's the secret to good track reading?
Yeah, because at home what I do for a living is also we build like roads and all of that in homes, and watching what I do here. It's when they start building, I know where they started, what's harder than anything else.
Right now, third in points coming into this event. Out of Seguin, Texas, he trails the Holman brothers and the Bud Bandit of Ed Wadler. But I got to tell you something, on a track like this, don't count out Manuel Marino. Out of Seguin, Texas, calls his truck the Yellow Rose of Texas. Marino with 638 cubic inches of janky-powered Chevrolet comes so close, but I don't think he's going to take over the lead this go-around. Well, this truck right here owns four-wheel drive pulling. These are the Holman brothers out of Wauseon, Ohio. And since 1989, they've been doing nothing but winning grand national championships. It's a 1960 Chevrolet. They call it the four-play. Now, Jim and Paul Holman both campaigned this vehicle. They, between them, have got about 27 years experience. This 1960 Chevrolet with 640 cubic inches. They are tough to beat, but they're not leading in the points this time around. The Holman brothers out of Wauseon, Ohio, up next. And behind the wheel for the Holman brothers this outing will be Jim Holman. Four-play Chevrolet definitely found the right spot in the track. Oh, the Holman brothers right now with a great effort at 297.9 to take the lead in the class. Paul Holman not having to drive behind the wheel this time. Paul, an excellent run by your brother.
Yeah, we're real happy with that. It hooked good and got a lot of ground speed and really felt great.
Let's talk to the driver. Jim Holman come right over here. An excellent pass.
Yeah, it felt pretty good. We got hooked up and got some good ground speed.
Nice job. Would you think it'll stick?
Boy, there's a lot of tough ones up there. All the top runners are still coming up, so that's a hard call.
We'll see what'll happen. Leading the class right now, Jim and Paul Holman out of Wauseon, Ohio. The four-play Chevrolet, definitely the #1 truck in the nation. One of the great things about this particular track is it's so well groomed. They fill all the ruts. They continue to pack. What you want in a track, and I grabbed this from about the middle of the track, is you want a nice, good, consistent, firm, particular surface. It's binding together very well. It's staying together very well, but we just haven't had anyone out the gate yet. The Holmans lead the field at 297.9. The track is in excellent condition, but there might be a wet spot. We'll continue to chart that. Here comes the rest of the class. Scott Smith out of Winchester, Virginia with another tough run coming his way. This young man has gained a lot of experience in the few short years he's been pulling. He's a college student. He's ready to take the 1982 GMC down towards his spot at the finish line. Makes his home out of Winchester, Virginia. Scott Smith out of Winchester, Virginia, the Three Bears pulling team. Scott Smith right now 4th in the nation in points. Very competitive young man. You start to lose a little bit of distance. The distance for Scott Smith at 296 and 5. Scott, you had a pretty good run going, then you started to bounce a little bit.
Yeah, we were having some problems earlier in the season, and I thought we calmed down, and we're getting a little bit too much back over the edge now, and I just had to back out in the middle and hope for the best on this end. Came up a little short, though.
A little short, but you may be able to still salvage that 4th place finish that you're looking at for end of season.
Well, you know, there's a lot of guns back there yet, and nobody's going to quit to the last hook, so we're just going to come back a couple more hooks and give them what we got.
Best of luck to you, the Three Bears pulling team out of Winchester, Virginia. Alan Steed out of Lancaster, Ohio, in a sharp-looking truck he calls Lost in the 50s. Alan Steed runs a restaurant most of the time when he's not pulling, but tonight he takes the seat behind the wheel of the 1951 Chevrolet, 650 cubic inches, Lost in the 50s pulling team. A 10th place finish last year in the points. Alan Steed would really like to improve that. Right now he's running 8th, so that's a noticeable improvement. But the 4-wheel drive class, always tough. And you've got to be on your game plan. Let's see if he can match up. The Holman brothers own the field right now at 297 feet 9 inches. That's the distance to beat. Steed, all Chevrolet power coming away, Lost in the 50s, and it looks like he's going to be a little bit short. This turns at a distance of 286 feet 1 inch. Here comes the nation's point leader coming into the Super Bowl of the South at Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Ed Wadler out of Battleford, Saskatchewan, Canada. It is 1991 Chevrolet Silverado. 650 cubic inches of pulling power. We caught up with him earlier in the pits. Ask Ed Wadler what it's going to take to hold on at the points coming into this weekend.
Well, Doc, it's very important. We've just passed the halfway point of the season, and Chapel Hill's always been a good track for us. We've done really well here in the past, and we need to do well again in order to maintain our points lead. And we're so close in points in our class that any falter can blow the whole deal, and we've been leading it all summer, and we'd hate to lose it now.
He's out of Battleford, Saskatchewan, Canada, so when he comes to pull, he's not coming to play, he's coming to get paid. Ed Wadler, #1 in the nation. He'd like to have a Grand National title, but he's got to have a good hook here at Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Budweiser Bandit becomes your new leader, and Ed Wadler has run tough all season long. Ed Wadler, nice pass. You couldn't get any closer to 300 feet at 299 and 9. An excellent pass.
Thanks, Doc. I was having a lot of trouble deciding what gear to run there, and we decided to stick with the Toma gear that we won with. And, man, we had a hell of a run, and it's just great.
Joe Flannery out of Eden, New York. 14 years pulling, but only 2 years running with the big boys on a Grand National circuit. It's a 1991 Chevrolet S10, but it's powered by a Donovan motor. We'll see if the PBS Chemicals Excellence in Motion Chevrolet can crack into the top points here. He needs to have a good finish. Right now, he's in the second half of the points on the Grand National circuit. A win here would put him up into the top 5. Joe Flannery, PBS Chemicals Chevrolet. Joe Flannery in the PBS Chemical Chevrolet with a great effort right there. Joe Flannery, nice effort. You come right out the gate again.
Woo! I don't know what to say, Doc. She's running good.
I got to tell you something. We talked about it earlier. Pressure. Do you feel any pressure still?
You got it, definitely. Whoa, it's a lot. Just been relieved. I think I don't know what to say, Doc.
Talk about it. Pressure. His first Grand National win a year ago. Can he make history again? We'll wait and see. Bill Christ out of Ohio, another tough running puller. We got to watch something right now in the four-wheel drive class. Now, I take nothing away from the two guys that just pulled, but from time to time, they'll build a road, and we'll see if the four-wheel drive guys have built a road. But what they could have found is that magical little strip, that little groove on the track. That's going to be what you need to go 300 feet. We'll see if Bill Chris can do it. He's got the green flag, and here he comes at Chapel Hill. Finish in the money this time around. 295.1. 295.1 for Bill Christ. Well, we've got a Chevrolet out the gate. We'll see what LEM Frieden can do. LEM Frieden right now has had a tough go in this season. He was as high as second in the points race, has dropped down to 6th. He broke a motor. But LEM Frieden is one of those rare people that's going to run an FORD, and he's going to do it all the way from the engine block to the body. The Intimidator Ford makes his home in Stratford, Missouri, and LEM Frieden definitely has what it takes to see if he can force a pull-off. The man out the gate right now, last year's winner here at Chapel Hill, Tennessee, that's Joe Flannery. Tries to angle it across the 300-foot line, but it's not going to happen this time around for this tough-running Ford. Next up, it's the Big J pulling team out of Perry, Oklahoma. Mike Johnson was 16 years. Finished 5th last year. He's been a Grand National champion before. We asked him, what's it going to take to get on a roll and get close to the leaders?
Yes, sir. We're, I think you would say, on a comeback trail. We broke some parts first of the season up in Springfield, Missouri. Started out the season in 12th place, and we've been running real good since then, and we're back up to 5th, and hopefully by the end of the season we'll be back up there in number 1 or 2 spot.
This sharp-looking 1988 Arias-powered Chevrolet, sponsored by Ditch Witch, can really make things happen. They've got a Grand National title to their credit, but right now running 5th in the points. We'll see what Mike Johnson in the Oklahoma Showdown can do here at Chapel Hill. And the Big J pulling team picks up the full pull. The last competitor in the class, and he goes the distance. The Big J pulling team, the Oklahoma Showdown. We told you one guy left. Joe Flannery thought he had it in the bag, but I got to tell you something, Mike Johnson. What a beautiful pass.
It felt real good, Doc. The track has come around really good. It was a good, smooth run. Built all kinds of horsepower. Turned the motor a little over 7,200 RPMs, and it felt real good.
I can tell you, we hear it crackling right now. Get back ready to get back in a pull-off. He's going to go after it, he says. He's excited. The Oklahoma Showdown ready for one final showdown here in Chapel Hill. Well, we told you this was the Super Pull of the South. Joe Flannery, who won the event last year, first time ever, and this time around, the last competitor, Mike Johnson, will be locked in a pull-off. We'll have the pull-off coming up right after this.
1, 2, 2.5.
Welcome back to ESPN's Challenge of Power, and the pull-off is coming up right now. Joe Flannery, a young competitor with a couple of years' experience, against the veteran Mike Johnson. The pull-off will see Flannery first, followed by the Oklahoma Showdown of Mike Johnson. It's going to be a great one. Again, Joe Flannery's got the first option to go the distance. Joe Flannery backs the PBS Chemical Chevrolet to the line, and this is going to be an old-fashioned Tennessee shootout right here. Boy, I'll tell you something, that Joe Flannery got some great great training about a couple of years ago from a top four-wheel drive competitor and decided that he better go Grand National Pulling. He's done that to this point. He's only had 2 wins. One a year ago here in Chapel Hill, another one earlier this season. It just happened to be a week ago. So this young man could really set things on a roll with a victory here at Chapel Hill, Tennessee. He runs a Donovan motor, which is a little bit different. Everyone else running the Chevrolets. So let's see what this young man from New York State can do right here. Joe Flannery, the PBS Chemicals Excellence in Motion Chevrolet. He's getting set to get the green flag. And here he comes. It's his moment to shine at Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Well, Joe Flannery right now lays down the mark of 297.3, and he is going to anxiously watch the run of this last competitor. Mike Johnson, a Big J pulling team. And I got to tell you something right now. The butterflies are probably dancing in the stomach of Joe Flannery. But right now, he's calm, cool, and collected. Really, the pressure right now is on the man behind the wheel. And that's Mike Johnson out of Perry, Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Showdown needs to get by 297.3 to take home the big check here at Chapel Hill, Tennessee. Their feet. You look at the reaction right there. Joe Flannery doesn't know. That's Mike Johnson's wife alongside Dixie, and it's just going to be a tail of the tape right now as the Oklahoma Showdown and Joe Flannery wait for that final distance. This has got to be your favorite place to pull four-wheel drive trucks.
You got it, Doc. Last year I won here. That was my first Grand National win. Last hook at Fort Recovery I won. This is 2 in a row now. I never did this before. I don't know what to say.
Well, you don't have to say much because you're going to get yourself the director's chair. You're going to get yourself the big check. And more importantly, you are on a little bit of a roll. This might help you in Grand National points.
You better believe it. And I need the help. I really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Flannery, the PBS Chemicals Chevrolet.